My fiancée looked me straight in the eyes and said, "It's me or your sister." I laughed. An instinctive, stunned reaction that slipped out before I could even process the weight of what she just said. Then, I stood up, canceled the wedding, blocked her entire family, and walked away as she sobbed in her wedding dress. It sounds dramatic, I know, like something ripped from the final act of a soap opera. But I swear to you, I never thought my life would come to this. I'm 29, and I'd been engaged to Lauren, 27, for over a year. We were 3 weeks out from saying our vows, from becoming husband and wife. It was supposed to be the happiest, most secure chapter of our love story. Instead, I was left trying to piece together how everything unraveled so quickly, so viciously, and so irreversibly. I'm still reeling from it all. Lauren and I met 4 years ago, and from the very beginning, she swept me off my feet. She was magnetic, beautiful in that arresting way that makes a room go quiet when she walks in, but also charming, hilarious, and wildly ambitious. We connected effortlessly. She loved that I was a family-oriented guy, and she especially admired how close I was to my younger sister, Maddie. Maddie, who's 24 now, is more than just my sister. She's my best friend, my constant, the one person who's always been there. After our dad died when I was 15, I kind of took on the role of protector, stepping into the space he left behind. It wasn't always easy, but Maddie and I became inseparable in the way only people who've weathered real loss together can be. At first, Lauren admired that bond. She said it made her feel safe, that she respected how I cared for my family. But that warmth didn't last. Over time, small cracks formed in their dynamic. Lauren and Maddie weren't best friends, but they coexisted politely, for a while. Then, about a year ago, I started noticing subtle shifts. Lauren began making these offhand comments, like, "It's kind of odd how often you and Maddie talk." Or, "Don't you think your sister is a little too involved in our lives?" I tried to brush it off. I mean, Maddie lives in her own apartment. She's grinding her way through a master's degree, and we don't even see each other every week. But we do talk, we check in, we're close, that's just our dynamic. Still, the more time passed, the sharper Lauren's tone became. There was one dinner I'll never forget. Lauren looked at me across the table and, dead serious, said, "You're going to have to choose between your wife and your sister eventually." I actually laughed. I thought it was a joke, a strange one, sure, but something said in passing. It wasn't. 3 weeks ago, everything came to a head during our final wedding planning session with both families present. It was supposed to be a celebration, a moment of alignment before the big day. Maddie, being her generous self, offered to help cover part of the open bar as her gift to us. Lauren didn't even acknowledge her. No smile, no thank you. Later that night, Lauren pulled me aside and dropped a bomb. She didn't want Maddie sitting at the family table during the reception. "She can sit with your cousins or somewhere else," she said, completely straight-faced. I was stunned. "She's my sister," I replied, confused. "Why wouldn't she sit with family?" And that's when Lauren looked me dead in the eye and said, "Because she always makes everything about her. I don't want her near me on my day." Her day. Those 2 words echoed in my head like church bells at a funeral. I thought a wedding was supposed to be about us, about starting a life together, united. But here she was, rewriting the narrative like I was just a supporting actor in a one-woman show. I calmly explained that I didn't feel right excluding Maddie like that. It would break her heart, and frankly, I didn't see a legitimate reason to justify it. That's when Lauren snapped. "You never take my side. You're still emotionally attached to her like you're her parent or something. It's not normal. If you want to marry me, I need you to set boundaries. No calls, no texts with Maddie until after the honeymoon. Nothing." That night I couldn't sleep. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, haunted by 1,000 memories. All the times Maddie showed up for me, when my last relationship fell apart, when I lost my job and couldn't afford rent, when I slipped into depression and she refused to let me drown. And now, the woman I was supposed to marry was asking me to act like Maddie was a parasite, like she was some threat to our relationship. The next day, I called Lauren. I told her we needed to talk, seriously. I explained that I couldn't go through with the wedding under the conditions she was setting. That asking me to cut off the one person who's been my constant felt like a betrayal not only to Maddie, but to the man I've always tried to be. Her voice cracked, and then she exploded. So you're choosing her over me? I paused, took a deep breath and said, no, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing the kind of man I want to be. And just like that, I canceled the wedding. What followed was chaos. Within hours, my phone exploded. 73 missed calls, dozens of voicemails, texts from her family, friends, even coworkers. Everyone wanted to know what had happened, and Lauren painted herself as the abandoned, devastated bride. Her bridesmaids left venomous voice notes. Her mother sent paragraphs accusing me of destroying her daughter's life. One of her cousins even DM'd me on Instagram to call me a coward. I ignored all of it. I went silent. The only person I called back was Maddie. She had no idea yet. I hadn't had time to tell her before the tsunami hit. She answered the phone with her usual chirpy, "Hey big bro, you good?" And I just cracked. My voice didn't hold. I told her everything, what Lauren said, the ultimatum, how I called off the wedding. There was a long silence. Then she said, quietly, "You didn't have to do that for me." I swallowed hard. I didn't. I did it because if someone asks me to cut you off, they don't really know who I am. I could tell she was holding back tears. She whispered, "You know, Mom would have been proud of you." That broke me. Mom passed away 3 years ago. She'd liked Lauren in the beginning, or at least the version of Lauren she met. But I know exactly what she would have said about all this. No woman worth marrying would ever make you turn your back on your blood. This wasn't about Maddie. It wasn't about boundaries. It was about control, isolation, manipulation dressed up as emotional maturity. And when I started quietly reaching out to my friends to process everything, some of Lauren's friends even messaged me. One said, "I always thought the way she talked about Maddie was off." Another confessed that Lauren had ranted about me being too close to my family at her bridal shower. This wasn't a flare-up. It was a plan. A slow, suffocating choke I'd ignored for too long. And then came Lauren's final message. 5 days later, a long, dramatic wall of text. "I don't even recognize who you are. You humiliated me. Everyone thinks I'm crazy now. You could have compromised." But she didn't want compromise. She wanted obedience. She wanted a partner who would bend, break, and conform. I never replied. What was there to say? I moved out of our apartment and stayed with a buddy while I tried to gather the fragments. I lost the venue deposit, half the catering fees, all the non-refundable decorations, but I gained something priceless. Clarity. Weirdly, I felt free, like I had dodged a life that would have chipped away at my soul piece by piece. I still sometimes wonder, what if I had given in, just for the honeymoon, just for peace? But I know better now. That wouldn't have been the end. It would have been the beginning of a lifetime of ultimatums. Now it's been a month. The calls have finally stopped, or maybe I just stopped noticing. I changed my number, deleted our shared Google Docs, canceled the wedding credit card, and retrieved my spare key. That's closure in 2025, right? Cutting digital ties and sealing off memories behind password resets. But the emotional residue? That takes longer to clear. And yet, I don't hate Lauren. I truly believe in her mind. She thought she was protecting herself, setting healthy boundaries. But love that demands isolation isn't love, it's control. Some mutual friends still post vague jabs online. Things like, "Men who can't cut the cord shouldn't get married." I used to get angry. Now I just scroll past. Because I've learned that Lauren and I never shared the same definition of family. To her, family ended when a new one began. To me, it expands. She thought loyalty should be singular. I know it can be layered. That's the difference that broke us. Maddie came over last weekend. She brought Chinese food and her old Nintendo Switch. We didn't talk about the wedding. We just laughed, trashed each other in Mario Kart, and shared dumplings like old times. At one point, she paused, looked at me and said, "I'm proud of you. A lot of guys wouldn't have done what you did." I nodded, throat tight. "It wasn't just for you," I said. "It was about the man I want to be." She smiled. "Well, you picked the right one. And that's what I'm holding on to. Integrity. The quiet kind that doesn't come with fanfare. The kind that feels like solitude, like therapy sessions and empty weekends, but also like peace. So if you've ever been in a situation where someone asked you to shrink yourself, betray your values, or walk away from someone who matters, please know that walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. It's survival. What do you think? Was Lauren emotionally manipulative, or just trying to protect what she thought was hers? Have you ever been asked to sever a bond for a relationship? Would you do it? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, I appreciate you sticking around until the end. If this story hit home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real stories that dive deep.